Hello, this is Jimmy. One of the videos that I wanted to talk about was actually one that we read this, or rather listened to this week. It was the one that had to do with the three guys on the front porch. And they discussed why people should use expository preaching. And one of the things that I appreciated that they said in the video was that topical preaching and expository preaching are not necessary enemies at two different ends of the spectrum. I like to personally to preach topically. I want my audience to be able to know what we're talking about and what I want them to do as a result of what they've been hearing. So I really appreciated them saying you can preach an expository message topically. You just want to try to stick with what it's saying in that particular passage and not try to make it say something that it isn't saying. So that was something that I really appreciated. I think they also mentioned that there are times where you have to preach on a particular subject to your congregation that maybe doesn't naturally fall within Scripture. Maybe there's just principles in Scripture or something that you need to draw out, and there may be times to go and to do that. I know personally there's been times where I've started expository, but then I've gone and branched out into other scriptures that help support that. And that was one of the challenges that I had kind of along the lines of what they were saying, because it felt like you just have to be expository all the way down the line. You can't really go to other scripture. And I think if other scriptures support what you're saying or are similar in topic that you can bring in to help drive home the point, then personally, I don't see a problem with going and with doing that. So I enjoyed that video, some of the things they were saying, and other things that gave me pause a little bit. But I think the important thing is what they were saying is that I want to preach Christ and I want to preach Him crucified. I don't want to know anything else among you but that. And I think Christ being the fulfillment of all Scripture should help us to preach in that manner. As far as the parable that I did the Pharisee and the tax collector. And when I teach it at the beginning of the year, I'm going to bring in the parable before that about the unjust judge and the value of persistent praying, and then bring in that one as well as perhaps some incorrect ways to pray. And really just hone in on that there are ways like that and other passages where we can pray in ways that don't honor the Lord or that aren't necessarily helpful, like vain repetitions. So when I think of this parable and how I want to teach it, I noticed that when I went and viewed everybody else's, they kind of read the whole passage first, and a lot of times I'll do that. But sometimes it's helpful if you're going to tell the story is to kind of do it in little chunks so that there's kind of like cliffhangers. That's kind of what I like to do. So that's kind of why I did my presentation that way. And then, like I say, then it drives home the point, and people are like, okay, I don't care what you have to say anymore. Go back to the story. And that's kind of the idea that I wanted to have. The unique challenge, I was chuckling because the professor said, this is a short one. You may have to figure out how to make it longer. When I originally started, it was 10 minutes. So trying to whittle that down to the very bare minimum to be very concise in what I was saying. That was probably one of the challenges that I really had to try and overcome as I was doing this teaching thing. And it also gave me an appreciation for the tech crew that I have here at my church when I realized how my video came out a little bit. But it was a lot of fun, enjoyed the class, and there are certain things that I took away from it that I really am hoping will help enhance what I'm doing here at Champion Baptist Church in Warren, Ohio. Thanks.